wonderful and I guess in some ways sad final call for Mozilla Open Leaders Round 7, Cohort D, Las Mozillonas. If you've made it this far or you're joining us through the live stream, thank you for coming. We're really excited to see presentations for many of our cohorts, exciting projects that they're going to be taking into the Sprint for Internet Health for the next month. And we have lots of people to get through, so I believe we'll just sort of get the ball rolling right now. Again, just to speed everything through, everybody remember the code of conduct: be constructive, be helpful, be welcoming of everybody involved. Do your best to be as inclusive as possible. If you have any trouble, just let one of me or one of the other hosts know, and we'll try to take care of the issues. This is the final demo call for Open Leaders Round 7, and that's kind of all we have to do before we get into the presentations. Hopefully everybody has a link to the document if you need it. If you're joining us through the live stream, don't worry about it too much. And then we have everything to go in order. So are there any, I guess, questions from anybody or any last statements people want to make before we get the ball rolling? All right, cool. So with that, I'll just sort of introduce us to our first project. And it looks like we have...
Oh, Grant, there's a couple sections before that. There's the Friends of Mozilla section.
Oh, the Friends of Mozilla? Sure.
And the opening question, if you wanted to do that.
For sure. Well, for the opening question, this is sort of one I came up with sort of on the spot, just in memory of certain movies that are going to be coming out soon. I myself am the opening question here is, what's people's favorite animated or fictional animal? Just to change things up a bit from some of the previous questions. I myself put sort of, I guess, the obvious answer for me was the original Pikachu, because I'm an electrical engineer by heart and I have a friend who works in mice research. Looks like Abby favors the Ryan Reynolds impression of Pikachu, which I can't disagree with because it's pretty fun. We have Denver the Last Dinosaur. I'm actually not familiar with that one, so Yo can explain that at any point if she wants to. Appa, the Flying Bison. I'm a fan of Avatar myself. And of course, Mankey, which is another Pokemon I'm quite familiar with. I think that might be the first person I've heard it name it as a favorite, but I don't object in any way. So let's go on to the Friends of Mozilla. These are new contributors or anybody who's done awesome work related to one of the projects in our cohort over the past, I guess the entire length of the program now. For DIY Labware from Victor, we have Andre Chagas, who's a Mozilla Fellow in the Trend in Africa program. They introduced Victor to the hardware movement and gave him a lot of support. So thank you, Andre and the Trend in Africa team. Abby says huge thanks to Yo and this guy named Grant. He must be somebody else, don't know who it is, for being an amazing host. Yo, nice to see you too. Fee, all the project team of Segura Digital and all the other Mozilla Fellows and the mentor Sean. Great. Awesome. Thank you for saying that. If anybody else has people they'd like to thank or give a shout out to, feel free to type it in here and I'll just mention it as we go along. Pablo is typing out something right now. And then I think we have 1 or 2 minutes before we need to get into the final demo call. So if you have somebody you'd like to thank verbally, you're also welcome to unmute yourself now and say it very quickly.
We shouldn't forget one of the most important people, which is obviously Abby, for helping work such an amazing program.
For so long, too. Yeah, thank you, Abby, for all the work that you've done with, I guess, now 7 full rounds of the program. It's definitely been transformative for me. It's been transformative, I think, for a lot of people, and I'm really happy it's still going.
Thanks, I really appreciate it.
All right. So, and then we have Pablo Rodrigo saying huge thanks to their mentor, Mark Davis, who's done an awesome job working with them. Well done, Mark. I'm looking forward to seeing what Pablo and Rodrigo have for us today. So with that, shall we move on to demos, starting from the top? All right. So first up, we have Cytopress, which is from Juliana, Juan Castro, and the rest of the Cytopress team. So Team Cytopress, do you want to take it from here?
Yeah, absolutely. Juanjo's going to be sharing his screen.
Yes. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Can you guys see that?
Yeah, can you full screen it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so my name is Juliana Castro. We're going to be presenting CETA Press and what we did during this month. First of all, CETA is a feminist publishing press and library focused on doing public domain books written by women. The basis of this project starts with two very sad pieces of data. The first one being that only 5% of GitHub contributors are women. And then in the in the public domain top 50, there are only 5 female authors. So what we do is we kind of like circle around between public domain text, so public domain feminist literature written by women, open source code and fonts, and Creative Commons scholarship and design. And we do that to make books, and those books live on a website that is collaborative. And Juanjo is going to walk you through how is it that we do that website, and how is it that this time at Mozilla Open Leaders help us make it more open and collaborative.
Hi, can everybody hear me? Yes, I'm going to assume that's a yes.
Oh, Juan, we just stopped hearing you. Oh. There we go.
Okay, sorry about that.
Start again, please.
Yes, okay. So hi, I'm Juan. I am the second half of CETA. And during our time at the Open Leaders program, we got to do a lot of interesting things with CETA. We basically got the opportunity to revamp our whole presence on GitHub, and with the objective of making it easier for both technical and non-technical people to be able to contribute to the project. So we wrote a bunch of new docs. We broke it into a different repository, and we also, in this process, we were lucky enough to work with Write Speak Code. This is an event where they gather contributors from basically. This takes place in San Francisco, and it represents people of basically. Is it women and non-binary folks, I think, and LGBTQ? And during this event, we got a chance to get some new contributors, and we got to test our new documentation. And we got this. We just wanted to show you this very nice pull request that we got, basically saying that they were very happy and looking forward to keeping contributing to CETA. So you can find CETA Press at cetapress.org, and you can sign up to our brand new newsletter that we just created a couple days ago at cetapress.org/newsletter. And we would like to specifically single out Nate, our mentor, because he was great, and
Thank you. Yes.
gave us a lot of great feedback and a lot of help. So gracias.
All right, thank you, team CETA Press. Anybody has any questions for them, feel free to type it in the document or verbalize it very quickly. I think we have 1 minute for each presentation for questions, if I remember correctly. So yeah, anybody who has any questions can chime in right now.
There's a couple comments in the doc. They're both from me, though. But
Yeah, we're always very happy to see pull requests started, so congratulations to the team on that. That's exciting. And I also agree with the first comment. We're looking at intersection of women and open source and authors. It's really cool. For that, and then I think there's everybody's Twitter handles and GitHub accounts are listed at the top of the document. So if anybody wants to get involved, I think that's the place to do it, as well as the links that are in this document right here. So last call for any questions for Team CETA Press before we move on to our next presenter. All right. Up next, we have Barnga, another open project.
Quickly, Sean. Sorry, Grant. We think we
Yep.
accidentally skipped Sean. He was first on the document, so maybe we should go with.
Good. Sorry. Very sorry about that, Sean. Document formatting didn't catch my eye, but we're happy to do that. So the next up is Sean Clark with his open project Art Things. Go, Sean, take it away.
Okay, I'm not unhappy not to be first. I'm glad not to be first. Okay, I'm going to share my screen, and I have some slides. So I'm pressing the button. Oh. Actually, I just need a quick reminder. I pressed the share button, but that's not the right one. Is that the right button to press?
Yeah, the big green share button.
Yeah. That's fine. So you can now see my screen. If I put my slides full screen.
Yeah, I've hit the present button and it should fill up the screen.
Okay. As you mentioned at the introduction, my name's Sean Clark. I'm a digital artist based in the UK, and I want to talk about my project Art Things, which I've been developing a strategy for its release during the Open Leader program. I call Art Things an infrastructure for connected digital artworks, and by that I mean it's an open infrastructure. It wasn't open before I started the project. It is open now for creating connected digital artworks. It allows artworks that use microcontrollers, computers, and web browsers to exchange data and respond to sensors. It does this using an Internet of Things technology called MQTT, which is very lightweight and flexible, and it's a messaging system that will work on many different types of device and network. As a digital artist, for me, it's been great to have a technology that will work on my web-based artworks, or my microcontroller artworks, or my Raspberry Pi artworks, and so on. I use the expression connected digital art. This is a term that I developed myself during my research. It's quite descriptive. The idea really is that a connected digital artwork will make use of connectivity and information exchange as an integral part of their process. So this is not just an artwork that happens to be displayed on the internet or happens to exchange data in some way. It's a crucial part of how the artwork operates. Art Things is a simple to implement infrastructure that can be used by multiple artists to connect their digital artworks together. And personally, I see connectedness as an aesthetic quality of an artwork. And my explorations over the last few years in my own creative practice have been trying to uncover what actually I mean by that. How can connectedness become an aesthetic quality? In order to do that, I had to develop some technology, and that technology has become Art Things. So let's imagine an artwork here. This is something I've created myself. These two screens are, they have computers inside, Raspberry Pi computers and LCD monitors, and they're animated. And the screens can be located anywhere in the world so long as they're connected to the internet, and they can exchange information. In this case, the information being exchanged is color. So the concentric circles grow and return to the center. When they hit the center, their color is released and the other artwork collects it. I think of it as a breath, an exchange of breath between these two pieces. In order to allow these artworks to communicate, Art Things works. In this case, they're browser-based. Actually, they're running inside Chromium. But Art Things is the technology used to exchange the data. Here we have some microcontroller-based pieces. These are 3D printed structures with animated lights inside. And when you interact with one, it sends data to the other, and there's an exchange, a conversation, I call it, that takes place between the artworks. Again, Art Things is the technology that allows messages to be passed between the artworks. Another example here is an LED matrix where you have an iPhone or iPad app, and as you interact with the app, the lights appear on the matrix. The two can be separated by a great distance. You could have a matrix in Australia and an iPad here in the UK. the technology being used to exchange messages is art things. I'm interested in breaking that boundary down between hardware and software-based artworks, and a lot of the little objects that I've made, proto artworks, are 3D printed objects with electronics inside that in some cases are able to exchange sensor or collect data from the gallery environment. And these sensors here, that's an example of a little matrix panel. And here there's even a camera. And this camera is exchanging or is able to capture data and exchange movement data with artworks. Now, I've also experimented with VR artworks, and this is an example, just a still of a view of one of my color grids. I see art things as having a potential there. I'd love to see interactive artworks that you access via virtual reality. However, the simplest art thing might be one LED connected to the internet that's able to respond to movement or messages or colors coming from other artworks around the world. I'm particularly interested in exchanging color, but the technology will enable us to exchange anything.
Okay, Sean, I just want to chime in really quickly. You're coming up on 5 minutes, so you maybe want to take one more minute.
Okay, these are my last two slides. So what do I need to do next? Well, I need to describe and share the Art Things technology. I need to find more artists and technologists to sign up for the project. And the project is very much about exchanging messages in standard format. So I want to have a conversation about standards. And I want to be sharing my code examples and boilerplate code. And finally, I want to set up a message broker that will enable artists to share messages without having to set up their own technology. So finally, how can you get involved? I'm happy for anyone to contact me via email, seanc@cuttlefish.com, to do the same on Twitter, Sean Cuttlefish. And the main thing is join me on GitHub, Sean Cuttlefish Art Things, and maybe get involved. I'm after technologists and artists. Doesn't matter if you don't know about technology, if you've got ideas to contribute, please get involved. And I'm sorry for overrunning.
All right, thank you so much, Sean. It was really awesome and see all the products you've already made of this, and I hope people will be excited to get involved. If anybody has any questions, you want to go ahead and type in the document, or you feel free to verbalize your question now. I think we'll let one or two people verbalize questions if they have them. We do have some comments in the document saying they love the project and they love the images, so good job with that, Sean.
Thank you.
They love hearing how it was opened up. But yeah, no questions at the moment, so hopefully you'll get that in your GitHub repository. And thank you very much, Sean. I'm glad you got so much out of it. All right, awesome. So with that, we'll pretend that I didn't skip something earlier and get back on track with our next project. And as you see, we'll give you some polite time warning so that people can stay within a reasonable time limit here. But next up will be the Baranga project with Avi Shriram and Sequoia Sedler.
Hello.
All right. Oh, yeah.
One
everybody
second,
hear it?
just screen share this. Okay. Can everyone see this? Okay. I'm Avi Sriram, and my partner Sequoia Sudler is gonna take it away. Sequoia.
All right. Yep. I'm Sequoia. I'm one of the co-developers on this project, and our project is called the Baranga Project, which is an online card game which promotes intercultural understanding. So what we're creating exactly, it's an online multiplayer card game. We're using Node.js, which is just a kind of a library for scripting server-side applications easily. And the premise of the game is that players cannot talk to each other, so verbal communication is completely banned. However, there is a unique set of rules given to each player, but every player does not know that. So I guess the challenge of the game is to figure out how people can figure out a common way to play the game without having verbal communication, which is quite interesting. Next slide. So why are we doing this? Well, for one, it's a very open source game because it doesn't depend on what language you speak. Anybody can play this game. It also promotes, cross-cultural understanding in that people from this experience mirrors the experiences of people from different countries or cultures who may not share the same language. So by, restricting verbal communication, we can see how that dynamic plays out. This game also offers some opportunity for researching social behavior, especially in a restricted communication environment. So the requirements for the user are very minimal. You really just need an internet connection and some kind of trackpad or mouse to draw, because the way that communication is implemented in the game, as you'll see later, is simply players are allowed to draw on just a piece of paper on the screen, and they communicate using pictures. They cannot use words at all. So everything is done through drawing.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the actual gameplay of the game. So the game starts off with each player receiving their rule sheet. So these rule sheets will dictate how they play the game for their first rounds. As Sequoia said, each player has their own unique rule sheet, so it provides some interesting dynamics in the gameplay. So in the game, each player would play down their cards according to their rules, and they would go around for one round. After this round is over, they will enter the drawing board phase, where they will draw an image describing a new rule to be added to the game. Each player would draw this, and then these rules would be shuffled into the rule sheets of the rest of the players. And then more rounds will be played with these new rules. We're aiming to have 4 to 5 rounds per game, and eventually by the end of the game, there will be many new rules added by each player. At the end of the game, the winner will be voted for. This is a very important aspect of the game, because the game does not decide who wins, but the players do. So this is interesting in gauging the knowledge of the player, and seeing why they chose certain rule sets to follow, and it provides a deeper understanding of human mindset. Then at the end of the game, a feedback section will be there just to talk about how they enjoyed the game, and we'll use that to improve our gameplay experience.
So I just want to chime in, 1 minute warning to come up.
Right.
All right. So how you could help, or how anybody can help, is we'd like to add more languages or more, translations, because the only aspect of the game that requires this is just the rule sheets and initial instructions. So after that, the game will not need any more, translation. That's the point, is that everybody can play. So we're just trying to make this game as accessible as possible. We also like if people could, contribute to the code, especially the user experience and the user interface. And the GitHub link for this project is on the next page, which Avi will display shortly. And here it is. So that's Barnga. Thank you for listening.
Awesome. Thank you much, Avi and Sequoia. Sounds like a very cool project. We can stop the screen share now. So anybody has any questions, again, type in the document or chime in now. We have a few comments. So Abby loves the approach using games for understanding. I do as well. This is kind of important to what I do in my job, actually, so I might tell my team a little bit about it. Yo is curious how people playing with different rules might work. Like, what are the examples of some of the rules here?
Right. So an example of the rule, a rule that you might be given is like, say, one queen would be, say, greater than an ace and a jack, or 2 3 of spades will equal a queen, or just different rules that quantitate cards together and give them certain values. Those were the basic rules of it.
Interesting. Yeah, it sounds it'd definitely be interesting to see it played out in a few different rounds. Anybody else have any questions they'd like to verbalize or type? All right, great. Thank you, Team Barnga. That was very cool.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
No problem. And good luck in the sprint for internet health. I think, how many projects do we have left, Yo? Do we have time to give everybody like the 4 or 5 minutes that we've been doing so far?
Yeah, you have 5 projects left in 30 minutes.
5 projects. Okay, so we can go on the upper range. So those of you who are presenting from this point on, we'll give you, shoot for 3-4 minutes rather than maybe the 2 we were planning for, and we'll keep things rolling here. All right, next up we have the offline servers for the defense and promotion of human rights by FEE with Seguridad International. Oh, sorry, Seguridad Digital. Go ahead, FEE.
Okay, can you hear me? Perfect. Okay, my project is offline server for the defense and promotion of human rights. And the project make the documentation is vital for the exercise of the defense of human rights. For this, we regularly use online tools such as collaborative documents or file sharing or database system or forms in internet or something like that. However, it's common to find scenarios where the use of this technology is not viable. It can be due to leak of access to internet or because information is sensitive and generates a risk if to have in the cloud. Yeah. So, for example, I put three different scenarios to. Okay, let's think about these following 3 scenarios. One scenario is defenders of a community document cases of forced disappearance. Considering that information is extremely sensitive, the defenders don't want to have it online. Another scenario is several defenders have document with photographies, videos, and writings or other things. The irregularities and aggressions of mining companies that try to appropriate the territory because of the red notes. Locally, they don't have internet access. And another is, for example, in the demonstration, it's very common for the police to make detentions, arbitrary detentions, and in the most of the cases, they confiscate cameras, cell phones, computer recorders, all the gadgets, either to the saturation of the infrastructure, or maybe they blocking the signal is normal, and that there is not access to internet in this demonstration of this. Right. So what they can do, one of the option is make a party with a lot of USB or hard disks or something like that, and try to share their documents between these groups. Another, for example, in the second scenario, they can make a pagan party in the middle of the wood and put in the center of the circle kind of container to put in this container all the files or all the tools who need to demonstrate or who need to documentate all the who need to documentate all these aggression of the mining companies or something like that. So what I propose offline server. Offline server is a small tool it's a Raspberry Pi, and this Raspberry Pi has a small Linux system, and you can put an external hard drive in this Raspberry, and you can, I don't know, you can encrypt this hardware and a lot of things. The important is this Raspberry Pi make a hotspot, Wi-Fi hotspot, and this Wi-Fi hotspot is usable between all the gadgets for Wi-Fi. Sorry. You can use a power bank in this Raspberry Pi. The power bank has the power bank. I make tests with a power bank, and the Raspberry Pi work for 15 hours, more or less. And this software can you be put in your offline server is Nextcloud. Nextcloud is like a Dropbox or like a Google Drive. Even the Nextcloud has online collaborative documents, and you can put Lines or Byte to replace Google Forms or maybe WASI, WordPress, a lot of things. Technically, you can put any application that runs on Linux server. And so what is next? We need to finish the documentation. We may need to make a distro with everything pre-installed, for easy to start. And the most important is work on a methodology for the final users. We have to find the way to make adoption simple. And we need to try prevent this from being a frustrating experience. So I'm trying to say this is a small tool, but we need to create methodologies to make useful this for the defenders, because the defenders don't have the expertise of the time to try to adopt this.
All right, thank you so much, Fee. It's very cool to hear about your project. I will check the document for any questions. If anybody wants to verbalize a question, feel free to do so. And anybody who can translate to Spanish if necessary, please chime in as well. Let's see. Other questions here. We have Abby says you're tackling somebody says you're tackling a very big issue. So congratulations on being ambitious, and Abby backs up that point. There's a question here. Have you considered looking at how mesh networks might integrate with your project to create decentralized networks?
Mesh networks. I don't know. I don't think this technology could be, but okay, this technology could be work with mesh network, but the groups who I try to work, the defenders who I want to work, they maybe it's too much for this group. I don't know if.
Gotcha. Maybe it's a thing, maybe it's not. Gotcha.
Yes. Okay, it's possible, but it's not recommended for this group.
I see. Okay. Very cool. Awesome. And then we also have two more comments saying a really nice initiative, and then somebody really wants to get involved in the project. So hopefully they will go through the GitHub repository. Rodrigo. Nice. Hopefully you can find the GitHub repository.
You're a contributor already. Yay.
Excellent. This call is already doing its job. Again, thank you, Fee. That was excellent. Very well done. Next up, we have Victor Diaz with Fonk.io. Victor, do you want to take it away?
Hello, everybody. I'm just going to start my screen. Can you hear me, by the way? Okay. Okay, so here I am. Can you see my screen? Yeah, okay, cool. So I want to present Funk.io. And Funk.io is a creative coding framework for mobile devices. For me, the most important thing is to define first what creative coding is. For me, creative coding is a type of computer programming in which the goal is to create something expressive instead of something functional. So many of you know, for example, processing or open frameworks or even Arduinos and Raspberry Pi, and those are tools that encourage to be expressive and to foster creativity among people. But for me, in the mobile space, it's a bit dominated by very big corporations that create very incredible frameworks to use, but at the same time, they are very complex for the majority of us. And we want to be creative with our tools, and we want to regain our tools and be aware that we can create things with the products that we own. So for me, creative coding is a very nice vehicle to foster, as I said, to foster curiosity, as well to, when we play with technology, to be aware of our technological footprint in the world, to encourage diversity of thoughts in the tech world, and as I said, be the owners of our technology. So before I'm going to show the project, I want to mention who might use Funk. And Funk is intended to use by, especially, like, I define it makers, but in makers can fit a lot of people, like curious people, hacker, artists, any people that want to create cool stuff with their phone. Teacher and students, which I already use it a bit with teachers and students, and I had a really positive feedback. Now I'm going to start a demo to show exactly how it works. So let me see if I can move this screen here. So this is right now. This is my phone. Okay, so I'm gonna go out so you can see it. This is my phone. This is an application. Right now, it only works sadly on Android, but I have to start from someplace. And then the Funk is a self-hosted framework that includes everything you need. So it's only one application. And then you just have to write this IP in your browser when you connect both the phone and computer to the same network. And then you can let me adjust this. You can just introduce the IP, and then you get this editor here. And the editor comes with a lot of examples that you can start working with. For me, it's very important to have like a lot of examples. So any person even without not so much knowledge can start opening examples and tweaking here and there and see what is the outcome. So for example, this is a very quick example. Many of you are aware of processing. If not, I really encourage you to check it. Processing is a language for, as I said, creative programming. And Funk includes processing as a fork that it's included as a library. So in this case, if I press here play, okay, let me see if I can hide this. Okay. Here I have, this is live executed on my phone. So for example, I'm now touching with my finger and I can display things. But Funk is very powerful. So for example, if I change this to rectangle and I select the code and I press this shortcut, now when I, let me see. Oh, I have a
just
problem.
Quick, sorry, Victor, just a quick 1 minute warning to finish up.
Yeah, sure. I had a demo effect here. Let me see if it works. I think my connection is not very stable now. Okay. Well, I'm having a small trouble here, but I guess you can get the point. It's a very nice tool for programming Android mobile devices with live features and self-documentation. What I hope is like we regain our technology again, and we start doing more creative things with mobile phones that most of the people think that are only used for Facebook. No more than that. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Great, awesome. Thank you, Victor. It's a very cool little demo. Always fun to see interactive things. As before, questions in the document, and then feel free to unmute yourself and speak up in chat if you like. I'll start with the questions from the document. Io says she feels like this project is quite well aligned with Sean Clark's Art Things project, so hopefully you two can resonate maybe a bit during the Sprint for Internet Health. Avi loves the idea and look forward to collaborating. Avi's also wondering how complex can the code get at this point? Are there any limits to what it can do at this point?
So basically, you can do pretty much almost anything with it, but it's more focused to do especially things with sensors, graphics, and audio. But as well, you can plug, for example, an Arduino to the phone, and you can interface very, very easily Arduino and then expand the capabilities of the phone.
Okay, excellent, awesome. Abby says props for doing a brave live demo. I echo that sentiment. Processing is great. I'll have to take Abby's word on that one. Art technology and collaboration, everything we like. Cool. So let's see. It looks like you get a lot of good feedback on using processing on a live demo. So if there are any questions, hopefully you feel free to type responses to them in the document. Is that all right, Victor?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Great, awesome. Thank you so much. And good luck on your project during Internet Sprint. Up next, we have our next Victor, who's Victor Kumbo with DIY Labware, who's also using excellent purple text. So props on that, Victor. Go ahead. Oh, and Victor Diaz, can you unshare your screen? There we go.
Great.
All right.
Hello.
All right, Victor Kumbo, you're up.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Let me just quickly share this. Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Victor Kumbo. I'm from Ghana, and I'm presenting on my work, DIY Labware, which is basically seeking to empower scientists to be able to build their own lab equipment. So just a bit of background, I'm into neuroscience, and I'm currently teaching in a university in Ghana. So my experience in as a student and now teaching has made me appreciate one of the big limitations to doing science in Ghana and Africa at large is the cost of equipment. Just to get a bit of context, looking at these tweets, you could achieve about 100 to 1,000-fold cost savings if you fix or build your own equipment. And this can be very important in places where funding is a big issue. So I decided to, if you can't buy your own equipment, you might as well build it yourself. And so that was what led me into the whole thing of DIY Labware. But the problem is that a lot of African scientists don't have the skills, or they are not even aware of open source hardware projects which are available to sort of build your own equipment. And so with my project, my goal is to build a local open hardware community which would empower scientists here to be able to develop their own lab equipment and to customize them, take advantage of the open source hardware movement. And so far, in my work, I've built one equipment active field because of my background in neuroscience, which is for behavioral experiments. And because I'm targeting an academic audience, I like to publish this work because credibility is important in academia. And then throughout the Mozilla Open Leaders project, I mean, I had all of that set up, but then the openness of the project wasn't really there. So during the Open Leaders project, I've really worked on setting up the GitHub repository to be able to bring in more contributors in order to spread this work beyond myself. For people who might be interested in getting involved, there are so many things that I would like to achieve. But in the short term, during the sprint for internet health, some of the goals I have are to improve the user experience for people who use ActiveField. And so I'm working on stuff like live graphs and then the graphical user interface, so people could interact with the equipment using the mouse on the computer screen, make it much more easier. So I mean, the repository is up on GitHub. The link is down on the slides, and then check out the roadmap. And if there are any, contributions and for things that I may not have thought of, welcome to take on any new issues during the Mo sprint. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Victor. It was very concise and well done on that. Awesome. So I will switch over to the document for questions now. And if anybody, as before, if you have a question you'd like to verbalize, feel free to unmute yourself and speak. Abby is asking if you're familiar with the OpenTrons project from the Open Sesame cohort, which I assume is in the same round. They also are apparently a hardware-related project, so maybe you want to follow the link that Abby has posted and see if there's any synergy between the two projects.
Okay. Yeah, I've actually seen it. Okay,
cool. And then Yo is absolutely loving this. Science shouldn't be as expensive and unreachable as it is. I agree completely. And we're glad that Open Leaders Round 7 has been able to help things make it more open. Let's see. Okay. And somebody asked for a link to the repository. That's been posted, and that's great. Since you came in quite well on time, we also have another moment for anybody who wants to verbalize any more questions really quickly. Give it a moment. Nobody? Okay. If anybody else has a question, they can feel free to type it in the document. Victor, very well done. Awesome. And good luck on your project. And I look forward to seeing the open hardware community developing in your area. Next up, we have Jandig from Pablo Diego and Rodrigo Oliveira. Sorry. Go ahead, Team Jandig.
Hi, can you hear? Nice. I'll share my screen just a second. So my name is Pablo. I'm from Brazil, and I'm here with Rodrigo. He's also in the team here with us in the call. So I'm going to present the Jandig, the open augmented reality art platform. So what's the problem that we're trying to solve? Nowadays, most solutions for AR are proprietary solutions, commercial solutions you found on Play Store, App Store. So it's not easy to experiment and try stuff. So newcomers usually only have closed experience to try and test. So there aren't a lot of creativity and experiments and exploration going on. So we are trying to solve that. So Jandig comes as an open source with open technology so that we can have developers, artists contributing and putting their own experience on that. And a progressive app too, so you don't have to install the app, don't have to go to Play Store, App Store. You can try to develop and work and test your apps yourself on the browser, on a normal browser, and it will have the same features as a normal app. So this is an example of marker that we use to track and show art in augmented reality. So we track this black border and the marker, and we can show some GIF above it. So if you change the marker, each marker is unique. So if you change the marker, we can see some new GIF playing above it. So it's nice. this kind of marker you can use to build stickers, t-shirts like the one I'm wearing too. So, and you can do some panels where people interact and this kind of stuff. So some weeks ago we had on a weekend with Jandig in São Paulo, where in Brazil, where we built some boxes with paper that had these markers on them, so people could try to open the cell phones, test, see, and experiment. Here's a video demonstration of the app working. So you use your browser, open the link, and you point your camera at the marker, and it will show the respective GIF and art that is linked to that. So, and if you want to install it too, you can just go to the menu and add to your home screen. So it will install it just like a normal app. You can use offline. You can take photos and stuff like that. So it's meant to be easy to use. So if you find a marker on the street with the link, you can just open your cell phone. You don't have to download an app and nothing like that. So it's really nice. Even maybe we can integrate it with phone. I was just thinking about that. And thank you very much. We have an Instagram where we post some photos about our work. We have a GitHub page if you want to contribute some markers, some code, something like that, and a Telegram community where we chat about project and some experience. We also posted the project on posts. So thank you very much.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Pablo and Rodrigo. It looks like a very interesting project. Of course, I guess it's I already got to see it during our practice calls, but it's also really cool to see it again. Excellent. So questions in the document, and feel free if somebody has a question to unmute yourself and verbalize your question. Let's see if we have any questions here. Is it an Apple only, iOS only, or is it Android as well?
So we're building a progressive web app. So it opens on the browser. So you can use it on iPhone with Safari and with Android, any browser, but Chrome is better. Firefox has some problems, but we're trying to improve it. So any kind of mobile device.
Okay, excellent. And then I have a question from somebody, whether you know about the project called A-Frame, which is the Mozilla awesome framework for VR and AR. I think there might be a possibility that it could there could be some synergy between Jandig and that project.
Yeah, we found A-Frame. We used it for some time, and we experimented to get some ideas. But this main core that we are trying to develop to use it on the web, on the A-Frame was really specific for some things, and we didn't get performance. But it's possible to do an integration.
Awesome. And then Abby, I also echo Abby's sentiment that AR has always been kind of this mysterious but also really cool technology. So if your project makes that more open to people, that's really cool. Last call for any questions in chat. Either type it in the document or unmute yourself now. 3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you so much, Pablo and Rodrigo. Good luck in the open and sprint for internet health, and hope to see your project progress there. Thanks. All right. Next up, we have the Cactus Collective from Annabelle Church. Annabelle, you ready to take it? Is Annabelle here? Ooh, I think we might
see her. Yeah.
I don't see her now, so maybe we're having some technical difficulties. We'll move on for now and come back to Annabelle if we have a minute. So we're going to move on to the AI Leaders Decolonizing the Global South by Ana Carolina Rodriguez and Victor Prata. Ana and Victor, feel free to take it away.
Hi everybody. So Anna, I will.
Hi folks. I'm sick. I'm so sorry. I'm sick, so I have no voice because Victor will do the presentation alone. Sorry.
So our project is AI leaders decolonize the global south, and our group was me and Anna, and our mentor was Cynthia. She was very nice with us, and so we will speak about our project. That's a community to develop the artificial intelligence in Latin America. It is an open community, so everybody can go to the website and contribute and do part of this project. And our goals are promote an open online forum and spread the knowledge about AI. So you don't need to be an expert, or you don't have to have technical skills like programming and this kind of thing. It's open to students, to researchers, to the community, third sector, etc. And yeah, we'll talk about in this open forum. We will promote debates, and we intend to go to some places like forums, not just online forums, but forums about internet, to speak about this idea and create content. So we will have articles, videos, and graphics, a lot of content to spread the AI and to help people to understand AI in Latin America, because we identified a problem in Latin America, because most of people just don't know anything about AI, and we are trying to help these people to spread the AI. So it should be moderation, but everybody can post on contents on the site and contribute, do comments, write an article, or do a video, etc. And the next steps, we are looking for organizations and help from different organizations like Isaac. We already tried to we sent the project to Youth Observatory, on a call of Youth Observatory from Internet Society, and we are waiting for the answer, because it's an open project. So we'll be glad if different organizations could contribute with us, and all of you are invited to contribute as well. And you can visit our website. It's on PubPub. It's on a very nice platform. It's free. It's a very nice platform. You can go, and that's it. If you have questions or
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Victor. And I'm sorry, Anna, that you're not feeling very able to speak right now. Hopefully that clears up soon. It's a very interesting project. I guess I'll start off with a question of my own, since this is somewhat relevant to what my professional team actually deal with. I guess, what kind of partners are you really looking for? Are you looking specifically to partner with organizations in Latin America, or are there international collaborations you're looking at as well?
Yeah, we are looking for international contribution, but focus on Latin America. So you can live in a different country, but thinking in this project in Latin America specifically. So any contribution, but focus on that, on our for the reality.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. And then Abby also loves that you're helping people understand an important topic here, and love to see the materials that come out of this, because AI and the impact of machine decision making has a lot of potential good and a lot of potential bad outcomes, I think. So it's good to see that. Someone commented, don't forget to show all deep thoughts about AI. There's lots of philosophy and lots of other things that can be talked about with regards to artificial intelligence. And Yo loves to see all the other organizations that you're working with, especially ones that have been through open readers in the past. Last call for any questions to be typed in a document or verbalized in chat. Feel free to speak up now.
I think I'll encourage us to move on just because we are 2 minutes over now and someone just signed up for another project presentation.
Good. The best kind of bad news, I guess you could say. Awesome. Thank you so much, team. Team AI leaders. Sorry. Thank you for your time. I just want to check really quickly. Is Cactus Collective here now? Is Annabelle in our chat?
Don't see Annabelle, but I can read out her updates maybe after this last one.
Okay, sure. So we'll move on to the next one as well. Next up, we have data protection in Latin America, also in a Latin American project, a legal framework. So yeah, whoever's presenting that, feel free to get going.
Hello. Sorry I didn't sign up before, but I totally forgot to do it. I'll try to share my screen. Hold on just a sec. Can everybody see that?
It's overlapping with Zoom a bit, but we can see it.
Okay. What about now?
Same as before.
It's pretty good. The Zoom, if you can just minimize the Zoom people. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Okay, cool. So my project is called Data Protection in Latin America, a Legal Framework. And the main objective of this project is to map the current legal scenario involving data protection. So we have, like, in the last few months, many countries who are currently approving laws regarding data protection. So the idea is to have a general view of it, so citizens can have an activist and whoever's interested in this subject can have access to this information. So the problem we have right now is that there are not many information about local regulations and data protection, because many of those legal documents are written in just one language, being Spanish, Portuguese, or French, or English, which are the languages spoken in Latin America, and not many people have access to that. They're not as easy to find as they should be. So the idea is to have like a general map where you could see some aspects of those regulations in all those languages, so that it's easier for people to have a general view of the region. So what we're gonna do is establish some criteria to analyze. So we're talking about data protection authorities, or if the regulations apply to public sector as well as the private sector. What are the compliance patterns for it? So some general information we're collecting from regional and local regulations, so we can all see what's going on in the different countries. So the idea is for anyone to participate on this. So you don't have to be a legal expert. You can just be someone who's interested in the subject and is willing to look up at legal documents and find those answers, so we can all settle them up in a single document or in a platform that it's easier to see it. So anyone, doesn't matter if you have a legal background or not, anyone who's interested can help. And the way to do it is to fill this form, in which the project's going to ask you how much experience you have with looking up legal documents, or how much do you know about data protection in your country, and where the links where I can find the entire regulation to make it easier for everyone who's participating to have access to those documents. So this is basically it. Thank you very much. And I'd like to thank Uriel as well, who's my mentor. He helped me a lot, especially regarding some technical issues, because I have a legal background, so I was not very familiar with GitHub or other platforms we used. So this is it. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And we're thrilled to hear that your mentor was able to be such a big help to your project. As before, questions are welcome in the document, or you may unmute yourself now and ask your question to Juliana directly. Abby says it's such an important topic in a confusing area. I agree. I get confused by laws in my own country, so I'm not going to do an attempt to understand international ones, but glad to see you bringing clarity to it. Yo agrees with that sentiment, as does Victor. Do we have any questions, I guess, regarding this legal framework for Juliana or the project going forward?
When I clicked on the form, one quick question. Do I have to know Spanish to contribute?
No, this is like a model form. This is the first one we did. So the idea is that we have one in French, in English, another in Portuguese. So this one is in Spanish, but it's the first one we did. But no, technically you don't have to. We're gonna saddle up other forms.
Nice, thanks.
Awesome. So there's gonna be a multilingual set of forms that people can contribute with eventually.
Definitely, yeah.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much for that project. Before, if anybody else has any questions, you have one last chance to chime in now. Otherwise, you can type it or send it to Juliana later on. Great. Thank you so much, and good luck in the sprint for internet health. I think it'll be a really exciting project to work on.
Well, I can just jump in for Annabelle.
Okay.
If Annabelle still isn't on the call. But I pasted in some text that she put in her contributing doc that I thought was really great. But her project is the Cactus Collective, and you can follow Annabelle on Twitter. But this is from her contributing guidelines. We are the Cactus Collective. We are a group of women-identified people in tech who want to explore ways to oppose gender discrimination, oppression, and retaliation within tech. We are designers, writers, community creators, coders, technical speakers, communicators. We are more than code. This collective aims to build positive tools, positive community mechanics, and financial resources to help combat the issues that cause women-identified people to leave the industry. We want women-identified people to thrive, not just survive, so that they too can impact the technology that is built and the world that it is built in. Recognition, resilience, resistance, recovery. We cannot do it alone. We must do it together. Join us and help us build the Cactus Collective. So I remember she shared that exact thing on one of the previous demo calls and thought it was so powerful. So I thought I'd share that now. And if you were inspired by this, you can go over to her GitHub. She has it linked here. Or it sounds like she has 3 events going on, one in Christchurch, Wellington, and then one in Berlin, Germany. I was going to say they're all New Zealand, but no, that last one is in a very different country. Dates will be announced soon, so keep an eye out on that. So it's just a little bit about the Cactus Collective. If you're watching this recording, Annabelle, I hope I did it okay. Feel free to update people if that was wrong.
For sure, yeah, likewise. If Annabelle's watching this, hopefully that does your project justice. And if any of you have one of the many skill sets that are able to contribute to that project, please do and check it out in the document. And then I assume there's a link to its GitHub repository somewhere as well. So with that, I believe we have come to the end of the presentations for Las Mozillonas, Cohort D, as it's also known. Thank you everybody who presented today. If you want to sign up and get involved in more projects, there's a sign up spot on the document where you can put your contact for GitHub and Twitter or whatever way you would like people to contact you. And then I guess for closing, we have to do the virtual equivalent of a group photo, and then Abby will cover final logistics.
So Yo and Grant, what should we do in our group photo?
Oh boy, I picked the animated animal.
Sequoia had a cool one.
Yeah.
Is this what we're getting?
you think, are we on board with this?
You're muted, Yo, but that was
Very sincerely agreeing. Like, let's get
okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'll take the picture. Oh, I accidentally took a picture too soon. Okay.
Okay, excellent. So
Okay.
I guess if you are if you're open to turning on your camera just for this portion, feel free to do so now. We'd love to have as many people on as we can. And then so Abby, I guess you'll give us a countdown and we'll all do our power ups.
My other hand is taking the picture, so I'll do one. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, I got it. So that'll be in the blog post coming out next week.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody who turned on your camera just to be in that photo. We were glad you're here.
Yeah. So just a couple logistics. So really hope you all have fun at the sprint this month. Have fun with new contributors. In a couple weeks, either Mark or myself will send out a survey for you, and that's how you'll get your certificate of completion. So you do want to get you all your certificates. We did want to wait till you've actually sprinted a bit before you fill it out. So you'll be getting another couple emails from us probably. So keep an eye out on that and fill that out if you want to get your certificate of completion. But yeah, it's been really great listening to all of your projects. If you're watching the live stream and you're interested in this, sign up under the new volunteers or reach out to any of the projects individually. But it's such an honor to work with all of you. And I'll throw it back to Yo and Grant to close us off.
Yeah, thank you, Abby. As of now, you're all officially graduated open leaders. Hopefully you will go on to both make more projects of your own in the same fashion and help others become open leaders themselves. You're also, I guess, honorary Mozillians if you were not already. So you've officially gone through a Mozilla program, and I think you've all done excellent work today. So I'm really thrilled to see you graduate.
Yo, anything?
I do want to throw one thing in. Just watching these has been awesome, and even just comparing it to 2 weeks ago with the practices, we can see how much work everyone's put in thinking about how to make these presentations really good, and how much the projects matter to you, and it's really, really a privilege.
Awesome. Well, 13 minutes over. Really sorry about that, but thanks everyone, and see you around. Keep in touch.
Good luck on the sprint, everybody. See you soon.
Bye.